All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the welcome to the internet marketing call for today. And we're going to get started pretty much right away, unless you have any questions. And of course, as always, I like to start with your questions. Excuse me. And so if you've got questions about internet marketing or something that you're trying to do, and maybe you haven't really had a lot of answers in terms of trying to move forward, um, uh, why don't you just write them right there in the box? And if you do that, then I'll be happy to go ahead and try to answer your questions. So if you've been trying to do something, if you're a product creator, or you are trying to sell your services, or you are, let's say, let's say that you just want to do affiliate marketing, right? Whatever it is you want to do, we can start with your questions this evening, and then I'll go into some prepared remarks. But it's always a little better if I can answer your questions first. And so again, welcome to you, those of you who are here this evening, and I certainly want to invite you to go ahead and put your questions here in the box. Okay, so why don't we do this? And again, feel free to write your questions in even as I get started. So I'm going to get started with a few prepared remarks. But if you feel like, well, you know what, this is something I've really been wanting to work on, something I've been wondering about, you can go ahead and write your question here into the box. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. And let's see, the presentation is loading there. Or you're just now hearing me? Okay, so if you can hear me right now, please put the number 1 in the question box. If you can hear me, please put the number 1 in the question box. All right, very good. Okay, so again, I want to encourage you that if you have questions about something you've been trying to do and you want to get some insight on how to do it, go ahead and write that question there in the box. You can interrupt me. I do have a few things that I've got prepared, but that should not take precedent over having your questions answered. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the question, no, I've been here for about maybe about 3 or 4 minutes, Sam. About 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so the question is, is always, well, should I create my product first, or should I build my list first to sell my product to? Right. So that's the question. And so how would you answer that? Those of you who are on the call, if I were to ask you, what do you think? Should you, if you're trying to get started, should you create a product first? If you were going to advise someone, if I were to come to you for advice on internet marketing, and I were to ask you, should I create my product first or build a list first? What would you say? What would be your answer to me to that question? If you were trying to give me advice on how to get started, or if I were new, how would you answer that question? So you want to help someone who, let's say, okay, so Dr. Faye says no, use PLR. Donald would say build the list first. Greg would say build the list. Okay, good. Okay, so there is no, okay, Sherry might say build a list. Okay, good. Okay, so there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious as to what the consensus would be. Okay, Jerry would say build the list first. Okay. All right, so I want to kind of touch on this a little bit, and Sean would say, let's say build a list first, I think. Okay, so let's start with this question, right? Let's look at it a little differently. And let's say that you have more money than you have time. And right, there are some of you who are out there, right? You've got a little bit of money to marketing. Maybe you've been throwing it at some of the things that have or has not been working. You got some money that you can kind of throw at this, and so you've got more money than you have time available. So the money to throw at internet marketing is not the problem. The problem is maybe the time that you got to spend earning that money, right, takes more than you have. So what would be my answer if you have more money than time? Well, what you basically want to do if you have more money than time when it comes to internet marketing and when it comes to answering the question as to whether or not you build your list first or you build your product first, I'm going to start by saying you're going to be buying traffic. Right, you're going to be buying traffic. Now, there's some aspects to this that I'm going to touch on here at the end, but basically, if you have more money than time, the best one of the fastest ways to get started would be to buy the traffic. And so what does that mean, right? So what does that mean to buy the traffic? It could mean that you could be buying Facebook ads, right? Because whether or not you sell the product or you build your list, you're going to be buying traffic in order to build that list. You could buy Facebook ads in order to build that list, right? There are numerous courses on how to do that. There are numerous products on how to do that. There are all kinds of tutorials and stuff on YouTube and Google and blog posts on how to use Facebook ads to start building your list. So that's if you've got more money than time. One of the things that's growing now is YouTube ads, right? Because lots of people are watching YouTube. And some people are coming to YouTube in order to learn how to do things. And so if you have something where you're trying to teach people how to do something, or your product is information oriented, then you might be able to build a list by doing YouTube ads, right? That might be one way to buy the traffic. Another way to buy the traffic would be solo ads. How many of you all have heard of solo ads? How many of you all have either heard of or excuse me, or you're doing solo ads, right? So if you've either heard of solo ads or you're doing them, right? I want you to put the number 2 in the question box, right? Your solo ads. And what solo ads are you are basically buying access to somebody's mailing list. And what's happening is they are allowing you to write an email to their buyers list. And so when you write that email, they will send it out to their list on your behalf. And what you should be getting in return for that is going to be opt-ins. Right now, there are some people who might go for the sale, but at minimum, if you're going to be buying traffic by doing solo ads, you want to get the opt-in. Right? Okay, so a lot of you all are really trying to do solo ads, or you're doing them, right? Which is fantastic. That is one way to do it. Now, another way to buy traffic is to outsource your entire product launch, right? So in other words, you outsource the product creation, and you can do that. You outsource the copy, and you can do that. You outsource the graphics, and you can do that. You outsource the sales page. So you basically go to Get a Freelancer, or you go to the Warrior Forum, or you go to Elance, and you outsource the entire project. And there are folks who do that, right? And so that's because they have more money. They have money that they can throw at this in order to outsource the entire project. That is doable, right? You don't have to do the entire project. You don't have to do any of the product if you don't want to do it, right? If you feel like you've got something that you know is going to sell, you can outsource the entire thing. And it doesn't even have to be an information product. A lot of people who actually do and sell software actually outsource the entire project, and literally they come and do the launch once everything is put together, right? Those of you who have been on a call with me before, she's showing you a site, and I'm going to show it to you now, called Code Canyon, right? CodeCanyon.net. Right? If you were to go to CodeCanyon.net, Now, these are going to be plugins, and these are going to be software scripts that are in partial they're partially finished, right? What it's going to require is for you to have somebody actually finish it and turn it into a product where there's an interface that people can use and you can actually sell it. You can actually turn these into WordPress plugins. You can turn them into software as a service. So basically, anything that you want to be able to do, if you want to outsource the entire creation, you start by buying this script, right? Let's say that you want to buy something in order to do Facebook, right? You can buy Facebook scripts. I think it says there are 1,200 pieces of code, scripts, and plugins. See, buy something. If you wanted to buy something that had to do with YouTube, right? You could buy something that interacted with YouTube, right? So if everybody get it. So in other words, you're going to start with this piece of code, and then you're going to literally go to the places like Elance, Get a Freelancer, and then you're going to have this code finished in order to create a product that you can sell to other internet marketers or to other people, right? So if you get that, if you understand that, now I didn't spend a lot of time on that, but if you get the basic idea, put the number 3 in the question box. You get the basic idea. So in other words, if what you want to do is you want to come to the market with software, you can do that, right? It's not a mystery. There are other sites that are like that, right? There are other sites that are like that. I think that there's one called Code Monkey, Code Monkey or something like that. If you went to, I think it's Code Monkey. I don't know where it is. It might be this one. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there's a site called Code Monkey. It's pretty much just like it's gonna be like Code Canyon. Right, and other sites like that. So in other words, you can probably get the idea of how to do that. Okay, now, so you can also you can buy traffic to Google. You can buy Google AdWords traffic. Now, Google AdWords traffic is probably the most expensive, but it's probably the most effective and the fastest, right? You could buy that traffic, and you could buy that traffic and send it to your opt-in page, right? So you know, if you sort of have an idea of what's really going to convert, or you have something that you really think people are going to opt in for, you're going to be paying for Google to send you traffic. Right now, you could buy forum ads, right? You could buy forum ads. So I play in the internet marketing space, so I would go to the internet marketing forums, but you would go to the forum where your niche is. Right? How many of you all are involved in a niche other than internet marketing? Right? So if you're involved in a niche other than internet marketing, I want you to put the number 2 in the question box. I know some of you all are personally, right? But okay, so I could actually buy, forum ad, right? And I've probably shown some of you all this either in a course or in some of the other other training I've done. But you can actually buy an ad here, right? You can actually also go and you can put an ad in the Warrior Special Offer form. You can put an ad in the Warriors for Hire form. And all of these are designed for you to be in a place where you know your buyers are going to be, and you're going to get traffic because they're going to see your advertisement. So in other words, you are paying for the traffic. All right, now, so forum ads. So again, I just showed you the Warrior forum. That's only one internet marketing forum. There are tons of them. If you are involved in another niche, you would go to the forum, where where you're actually going to be selling. So in other words, let's say that I am in the dog training niche, right? So I'm going to type in dog training, and I'm going to type in online forum if I want to find the other forums, right? Dog training online forum. And so what's going to happen is you see all these things: the dog forum, dog chat and puppy forum, dog training forum, puppy and dog forum. So if you want to find out, or you want to advertise in one of these forums, there's probably a price to it, right? You probably want to figure out which one is the most heavily trafficked. And then you could actually place your ad there if you were in the dog training niche. If you were, and I use this example often, if you were a low carb product creator, low carb diet online forum, right? Here is active low carber forum, main low carb diets forum, low carb diets friends forum. Okay, so all kinds of things that you could actually go to if this was the niche you were selling to. And you can probably buy an ad in any of those forums. You would actually find the one that's the most heavily trafficked, is going to give you the best exposure to your ad. So you can buy traffic to any of these places. Now, and I just scratched the surface in terms of buying traffic, right? I just scratched the surface in terms of buying traffic. What you have to do is you sort of have to know that your lead generation is going to convert. So in other words, you should already have an idea. When people come to that squeeze page or to that landing page, you should have a great idea that that conversion is going to happen based on what's there. Okay, so Greg has a question. How do you know which forum has the best traffic? Well, one of the ways you could probably do that would be you could go to Alexa, right? You could go to alexa.com. If you go to alexa.com, we could put in there, let's say warriorforum.com. Right, warriorforum.com. And then Alexa is going to give us some basic information here. And as you can see, right, Warrior Forum is ranked in the top 1,400 sites in the world. So that's good traffic, right? That's pretty good traffic. It says that their traffic ranking is going down, right? And it could just be because of seasonality, but that's sort of interesting, right? But Alexa is probably a quick and dirty way, Greg, that you can tell which of your sites, the sites you're looking at, has the best kind of traffic. There's some other sites where you can do that, but just at a glance, you could look at Alexa. You could also look at the Google AdWords keyword tool to see how many people are searching for it, right? That's another way to do it. Okay. Now, as I said, if you're going to buy traffic, right? If you're going to buy traffic, then you need to know that if you're going to actually pay for an ad, Google AdWords, you need to know beforehand that your squeeze page is going to convert, right? You don't get a squeeze page and figure it out with paid traffic, right? You already know your squeeze page converts before you start paid traffic. So in other words, don't start buying traffic to something before you have a squeeze page you know people are going to see and they're going to opt into your list too, right? Now, you also need to have a pretty good front end offer, right? So even if you're going to send people from that opt-in to an affiliate offer, you want to have a very good front end offer, right? Theoretically, it should be your own, right? It should be your have one, and you're going to start buying traffic. You need to have a great front end offer that you know people buy and that converts. And then probably sister to that is that you got to have a great funnel. And those of you who have been on my calls before, I've said to you that before the end of this year, you should be reading .com Secrets, right? That talks about funnels by Russell Brunson, right? And I don't get anything from that, but I'm just telling you, it's probably the simplest way to understand what a funnel really is and how you need to act and how you need to put it together. So if you're going to buy traffic, the key to this is going to be the funnel, right? It's not just going to be that you get a sale and an opt-in, because as soon as a person opts in, when you buy traffic, you need to be sending that person, once you know you've got the opt-in and once you know you've got the confirmation, you got to send that person to an offer almost right away, unless there's a compelling reason not to. Right now, let's see. I think I did that wrong. Let's see if I can just go this one at a time. Okay. For some reason I didn't act right. Okay. So let's say that you have more time than money, right? You've got more time than money. And so if you've got more time than money, then this is going to be a different thing. Your traffic is going to be semi-organic, right? That means you can afford to wait for the traffic. So that means then that probably one thing that you can do is partner with someone. So in other words, you're going to create something with somebody in order to sell on maybe one of the platforms. If you're selling to the internet marketing niche, you'll be partnering with someone to sell on JVZoo or Warrior Plus. If you're in another niche, you'll be partnering with someone to sell in ClickBank or another location, right? You're going to partner with someone. Now, I'm not talking about affiliates right now. I'm talking about partnering with someone who has an aspect that you don't, because you've got more time than money. So you don't really have a lot of money to throw at traffic. What you do have is you have time, you have labor, you have expertise, you have ability. And so what you're doing is you're partnering with someone in order to put together something that's going to sell on a platform that's going to help you to build your list. Okay, you can also JV with somebody, right? In other words, you're going to have a group of people, and you're going to actually play around with the expertise of the people in the group. That's very similar to partnering. Once you have a partnership and you're actually going to produce a product, then of course, when you have more time than money, then you've got time to start gathering affiliates. So you don't have to do a whole lot on your own. What you can do is you're going to take time, put your product together, and you're going to go through a recruitment process. And sometimes what's going to happen is the person you partner with or that you JV with, they're going to have the ability to gather affiliates, right? They might have relationships with the affiliates that you don't have. And so you got the ability to put together a great product, or you've got the ability to write great copy, or you've got the ability or a relationship with someone who can put together a great graphic sales page, but you don't have affiliates, right? So you're going to come together in order to gain the synergy that you need in order to put the product together that will put to the actual project. Okay, so now if that makes sense so far, I want you to put the number 4 in the question box. More time than money, right? So if you understand that, okay, you're not going to be buying traffic, you're going to be attracting the traffic. That's what I mean by more time than money. It's going to be semi-organic, right? It's not going to quite be organic because you're not blogging and you're not doing SEO and you're not just getting out there doing social media, right? Hoping for the traffic to come. Right? This is semi-organic. So in other words, you are creating in order to draw the traffic. Right now, and this is important. I included in here paid ads, right? Paid ads. Now you might say, now how could that be where you have more time than money? Well, what's going to happen here is where you do have the ability to pay, right, for advertisement, you're going to be. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that here. Let's see. I'm going to go to MunchEye. Okay, muncheye.com. Okay, so what's what's going to happen here is you can actually pay, excuse me, pay for advertising for your affiliate launch, right? There's another site called JV Notify Pro, right? So that's really why I have his, that's really why I have this here. JVNotifyPro.com. And you will have already established that you have a project that you're going, but you are actually going to you're going to use the opportunity that you have to put your project up there, but you're going to pay for it where you have the opportunity and where you have the funds. Okay, now Greg is asking a question, right? It's actually a great question. Where do you suggest finding a partner for the IM niche, right? Everyone's looking to sell rather than partner up. That's a great question. And really and truly, there are a couple of ways to do this, right? There are a couple of ways to do this. Number one is going to be typically, right? Typically, you can actually find someone often who again, now if you're willing to be turned down a couple of times, right? There are all kinds of people on Muncheye who probably don't have what I would say they don't have it all together, right? They don't have it all together. And so where you're able to add something to somebody, excuse me, that already has something, they've already had something going, but you can add something to it. These are going to be the folks that you want to partner with. Right now, again, a lot of times you're going to get turned down. And ask me how I know. I've done it. Right? But every so often, you're going to find willing to have you partner with them. And now, one of the things I've covered in previous webinars has been this. Right? Sometimes a partnership can be as simple as Greg or everybody is putting together an entire product and then giving it to someone to use as a bonus where you can actually get the opt-ins and they put it on their download page, right? Sometimes people are willing to do that if they need great bonuses in order to bolster up their product, right? So that's one way to partner. Sometimes a partnership, because look, the end result is what? The end result is that you get leads, right? That's the end result. And so if the end result is leads, then whether or not you partner with somebody in the traditional sense is not as important as you're getting the lead, right? So that's one place. Also, I would encourage you to do the net marketing niche. And I know that, there's a lot of, there's discussion on whether or not this is a great place for this. I still think it is. I still think that the Warrior Forum is a great place. Right now, probably what's happening now is that some of the traffic from the Warrior Forum is actually going to certain places on Facebook where you find groups. And I would say that before you start looking at Facebook groups and start contacting people directly, I would start looking for people in some of the forums. Right. And in fact, there is a forum in the Warrior Forum where people are actually looking for partners, right? And it's called the Warrior Joint Venture Forum. Okay, and you'll see it right here. Looking for webmasters with properties in the employment industry. Want to launch an Amazon FBA private label business. I need traffic. Are you an experienced product launcher? Are you an experienced programmer? Looking to kill it on Amazon with your product. My methods, your site. Okay, so again, you can look through here, and these are people who are actually advertising for the opportunity, right? But you can find individuals, I would say, on the Warrior Forum just by kind of reading through some of the posts and then getting a sense for somebody who they are. I've been contacted from posts I've made on the Warrior Forum. I've contacted people from posts I made on the Warrior Forum. Now, probably the most, I'd say that the best And probably the most profitable way is going to be, and I don't know if they have them all here on Muncheye or not, is for you to go to an event, right? For you to go to an event. Now, there's something going on in Atlanta, I think right now, where a bunch of marketers are, but I think that there is a JV Zoo event coming up in April. And so if you, as soon as the date comes, I'm going to suggest that you put that date aside and do it, right? I think that, as a matter of fact, if you're in the Florida area, I think that Dwayne Golden and Dwayne Golden Jr. and I are going to be doing an event in Florida, right? That they're going to be putting an email out pretty soon. I mean, if you can get there, you should be there, right? And again, going to events isn't going to be magic, but you can actually meet somebody when they're not being approached by everybody by email. And I've had the best success by going to events. Probably the best success I had was going to a Warrior Forum event back in 2000, I think 12 or 13. Right, and the event I went to in 2012, I promise you, was fully responsible for paying my mortgage. Right, it was, and I don't hesitate by saying that. So I met people that I partnered with in 2012 that made all the difference in the world in my business. So if you're trying to do it online, difficult, but not impossible. Trying to do it at an event, much more possible and much easier, because you can be yourself. Okay, does that help? Okay, does that help, Greg? Let me know if it does. Okay, so when you have more time than money, you're going to actually I'm going to suggest that you do a forum launch, right? A forum launch. And once again, you're going to go to the place where people are selling stuff and where the folks who are actually buying what it is you sell are, right? Another place to launch would be the passive launch. That is that you're going to want to put something on Kindle. I know people who have list building strategies on Kindle. At the end of their Kindle book, they have a place where people can actually click to in order to get to their squeeze page. People do list building by putting products on Udemy and getting free and giving their course away. Some people do it by doing it on iTunes, getting their book and or podcast on iTunes. So again, with a more time than money strategy, you are getting semi-organic traffic and you are sending that traffic to a squeeze page. Okay, now, okay, I'm going to suggest a middle ground for most of you, right? For most of you, you're probably going to be like me, and you're going to need some middle ground. So it's probably not a matter that you have more time than money or that you have more money than time. So what's the middle ground? The middle ground is, start thinking about this. If I were to ask you on this call, now if you were to, you can write it to me in the private box, but I want everybody on this call to just do me a favor right now, right? I want you to answer two questions, right? I want you to answer two questions. What can you teach entrepreneurs? What can you teach internet marketers? I want you to think about this. What can you teach entrepreneurs or internet marketers? Now, when you answer that question, hear this. You can take a risk on something when you create a product. It does not have to be about making money, right? Internet marketers have kids. Internet marketers have kids who try to get in school. Internet marketers have marriages. Internet marketers have social problems. Internet marketers, some are shy and need to overcome themselves. Internet marketers are unproductive, right? Internet marketers don't know where to buy great equipment. So it doesn't have to be about making money. What can you teach an entrepreneur? What can you teach? What is it that you know that you can teach somebody? What can you teach an internet marketer? I know there is something that you can teach, right? You can teach somebody. Yeah, I got a great comment from somebody in private. Absolutely. That is absolutely right. You can teach that. That would be a fantastic product to lead with, right? Because you've already got the experience there. And again, now this person typed it to me in private, so I'm not going to reveal what it is, but I can tell you that each of you on this call, thing you can teach an entrepreneur or something you can teach an internet marketer. Okay, yeah, there's another person that knows how to do some stuff, some really cool stuff on social media. Fantastic. And you can actually do that. So I would say that's a great thing to start with, right? Something that you already have authority in, something that you are, and again, take a risk with it, right? There is nothing that you can break by creating a product and selling it. You can't break anything. As a matter of fact, you can't even ruin your reputation by putting out a product if nobody buys it. By getting your product actually created and putting a price tag on it, you've then got something you can go to somebody with and then say, hey, would you like to have this on your download page? Okay, now, okay, why do I say you want this to be internet marketers and entrepreneurs? Because I'm going to suggest that you launch where the marketers are. And I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and launch something where on the Warrior Forum or on ClickBank or on Warrior Plus. Now, again, you can actually go and go elsewhere. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying that start here, right? You can start here, but so you can learn some of the basics on how to create a product and how to sell it, how to do customer service, how to do all that stuff. And the only way you're going to learn is actually the launch, right? That's how you get in the game. So I want you to start thinking about, well, what can you teach entrepreneurs? What can you teach internet marketers? Right now, here's what now, when you do this, I want you to start looking at pricing, right? Pricing of what? Now, pricing of everything else. So think about doing this. Don't even think about, if you have never created a product before, don't even think about doing the graphics. Right? How many of you, this would be your first product? If this would be your first product that you'd be launching, I want you to put the number 6 in the question box. The one we're talking about right now. This would be your first product that you'd be doing through this process. Put the number 6 in the question box, because here's what I want you to start thinking about. I would not even want you to start the process of getting into launch mode. You shouldn't even be thinking about doing the graphics, right? So don't even think about it, right? Don't even get started doing graphics, right? If you start right, you'll end right. If you start right, you'll process right. If you start right, you will then start to learn how to do this the right way. Now, you know what? I learned doing it by the cheat, right? And it was probably because, and I'll tell you why here this in a minute. Okay, outsource the copywriting. Now this you can go back and forth, but if you're not a good copywriter and you don't know how to get people hyped up and excited, let somebody else do that, right? Let somebody else do that. Outsource your sales page. Let somebody else do that. Okay, now those 3 things. If there's going to be a bottleneck, once you finish the product, it's going to be in those 3 areas, right? Most people will get done with everything else, but then they get to the graphics, or they get to the copywriting, or they get to the sales page, right? And that's going to be the thing that's going to hold you back. I'm going to say, and again, I'm going to be going over this during the product creation challenge. I'm going to show you how to outsource, where to find these people. We're calling the product creation challenge LaunchPad 2016. And that's because you want to get on the LaunchPad for the coming year. Okay, so now I said here, you want to make sure you have a great funnel. And what I mean by that is that you want to make sure that your front end offer is a no-brainer, right? Your front end offer should be a no-brainer. And then what you want to do is you want to come behind that front end offer with something fantastic. And not everybody's going to buy that back end offer, but because you came with it, you're going to actually be more profitable, and you're going to be closer to making your money back from the outsourcing that you've done. Now, once you put together a graphics package, you actually go out and pay for that. Once you actually go out and pay for somebody to write your copy, once you actually go out and pay for somebody to write a sales page, you have to put together a funnel. Right? Because even if you sell a gazillion copies, one of the ways in which you increase your opportunity to be profitable on a product is to make sure that you have a great funnel. That means one upsell and a downsell. That might mean a second upsell and a downsell. That might need a third upsell. Right? So you want to make sure that you put together a funnel. Now, again, I'm not going to go through the marketing. I'm not going to go through the particulars of this. I'm going to be talking about that during the challenge. Now, what are you paying for when you outsource? Now, I want to say here that what you're paying for, okay, now I said something about the funnel, right? When you outsource, you have to have a funnel, right? And so the funnel is going to be vital, because if it's your first product, you might not have a lot of buyers to start with. And so you want to make sure that when somebody comes and they actually buy your front end, you give them the opportunity for you to make more money. And if you make money on the upsell, that means then that you don't need as many front end sales to break even. Does that make sense? Okay, if that makes sense to you, I want you to put the number 7 in the question box. I'm going to say that again. The funnel is vital because you may not have lots of buyers until you have people that know you. And if you don't have a lot of front-end buyers, you want to make sure you give those front-end buyers the opportunity to buy something else from you so that you'll have a profitable funnel. Right? Now, what are you paying for when you outsource? Are you paying for services? No, you're paying for leads. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say that the total that you spend on the product is $300 between graphics, copywriting, and outsource. Now, that'd be hard to do, but you can do it. And let's say you made 30 sales at $10. And you might say, well, that's not too good. I did all this work and I didn't make any money. Right? Is that really bad? Actually, no, it's good. Why? Because what you've done by spending the $300, by creating a great sales page and great copy, is you bought leads. You've gone to the Warrior Forum, you launched the product, you have great copy, you have great graphics, you have outsourced the process, and you paid $300 or $400. And so let's say that you only make 30 sales, right? Or even less than that. What have you done? You got paid to create leads, right? You've done better than that. You got paid to create leads. So you've done better than buying leads, right? Not only did you not have to buy them, you actually got paid to create them. And the fact that you broke even means that you've actually gotten paid and that you're at better than ground zero. Right? Because if you outsource your project and you get 30 new leads as a result of it, and you're not out any money, you're 30 leads richer. Right? If you get that, put the number 8 in the question box. All right, now, when you get those 30 leads, 25 leads, however many leads you get from your first sale, you need to be ready to start building a relationship with the people who are on your mailing list. Right? You need to start building a relationship with them. And that means then that you're not going to get good at writing broadcast emails when you get the list. Right? You need to get in the habit of writing those emails now. And you might say, well, Charles, I don't have anybody on my list right now. That still doesn't mean that you can't write emails, because I'm telling you, you will never, the wrong time to learn how to write emails is when you have a list, when you first get it, right? You need to be writing, you need to be already knowing what you're going to say to people. You should already be in the practice mode of writing emails, right? Building a relationship. Okay, now, the other thing I'm going to suggest you do is start doing webinars. Right? You might say, well, what am I going to do a webinar about? Nobody's going to come to it. Doesn't matter about that. Right? You need to get in the habit of teaching people and building value. I do not believe, right, and this is just me, I do not believe that you need to outsource doing webinars to somebody else, right? Because you build no relationship. You build no authority that way. Everybody on this call has something that they can teach. And the people that buy from you are going to gravitate towards you, and you are going to attract them. And so what you need to do is you need to take them serious enough to get them on a webinar or in a Periscope or whatever you use. It doesn't matter. I mean, I like, Webinar Fusion Pro, or I like to stream. I like doing just what we're doing right now. I tried Periscope and I don't know if I like it. But I'm still going to be streaming live, right? I'm going to be doing this because it's a way for me to interact with you live, right? So start being in the habit of writing emails, right? And actually, Greg has a great point. When you get a great email from somebody, I take it, right? I take it. If I had time, I would open up my email, and I have a place with all of the emails that I get from people, right? That I like. I keep the emails I write. I also keep the emails that other people write that I like, right? I would say this. What you want to do is to make sure when you're writing emails that you kind of come to people and it's you, right? Be yourself. If you get a swipe email or you get somebody else's email and it wouldn't say something that you would normally say, or if they're a little off color and you're not, don't be that. But if you are off color, right? That's who you need to be. Right? You need to be the person that's going to be easy for you to maintain when you start building a relationship, because it's going to be hard on certain days to write emails if you're not being yourself. Right? So if you have to put on a persona in order to write an email to your list, I guarantee you know what? You will not write that day because it's going to be too hard. You're not going to feel like it every day. Right? But that's part of building a relationship. You have to be the person that because many days, and this is why people say that you want to go into a niche that you're passionate about, because on the days when you don't feel like doing it, the niche will keep you going. And I kind of feel like that in some degree to the same way about writing emails. You have to be the person that you're passionate about, which is you. Because if you're being anybody else, then when it comes time to write that email and it's 10 in the morning and it's already getting late, you're not going to write it. Right now. Okay, so what's next? So I'm going to be covering some of this stuff in LaunchPad. But so what would you do next? Okay, so you need to create your product in the platform. The Warrior Plus, JV Zoo, Genius Marketing Pro, any place. Create your product in the platform. Create a JV page, right? Create a JV page. Put a date in Muncheye. Now, why do I say put a date in Muncheye? You say, no affiliates know me, right? When you put a date in Muncheye, you already have your JV page and people can sign up with you, then you are going to actually be committed to finish. And here's what's going to happen. Somebody is going to look at that date you put in Muncheye, and they're going to say, you know what? I don't have anything going on. I like this. I'm going to mail this, right? They're going to apply to be your affiliate. And then you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to follow through, right? You're going to have to follow through and finish the product. So put a date in Muncheye. That's when the clock starts. And then what you want to start doing is you need to start talking it up like it's an event. Just like you would if you were going to have, I don't know, a big wedding, right? You start talking it up on your social media, talking it up offline, talking it up when you get on you start writing emails. You start talking it up like you're going to be an event. You start telling people and you tease people with something. Say, hey guys, something's coming. It's going to be really cool. Hey, are you struggling with Are you struggling with this aspect of your business or your life? There's something coming on the 15th of December that you're really going to like. And you need to start talking. Something's going to be happening on the 15th. Save the date. So you just start talking it up like an event. Start planning the project, right? So plan the project. Remember, you're going to be outsourcing a lot of it, so you got to plan it. And so when you outsource something to somebody, number one thing, and I think that well, one of my friends said this on the call. When you outsource something, trust me, I made this mistake, and you do not want to make it. You do not hand stuff over to the person to outsource, and then just expect that they're going to come back to you on the date that it's due. Right? That is not what you want to do. You need to be checking in with this person on a regular basis. Right? Check in with them. Check in something. See what it is that they are doing. Ask them to show you, hey, what do you have so far? Let me see it. Right? Because you want to make sure that your project stays on the front burner. Right? So plan your project, monitor your project. I'm talking about the copy, right? You don't want somebody to start getting all the way into the copy. That's not what you want to have said. You might get the copy back and you might say, oh man, that's really too much hype. That's not what I want to say. And so you want to start looking at the copy while they're writing it, right? Ask them to show you stuff. Now, you know what this is going to do? It's going to make you into a bit of a jerk, right? You're going to kind of be a bit of a pain in the neck, but you are going to have a good product. Right? Now, sales page, everything, graphics, same thing, right? Monitor your project. Then get it set up, package it. Get your stuff up on your wherever you're going to be hosting it. Right? Get your stuff up. Get your download page set up. Get some review copies into people's hands. If you don't know anybody, get inside of the forums or Facebook groups. Okay, once you get those review copies, get their testimonials, right? However you collect them. Now, I'm going to be showing you this again in LaunchPad, so don't worry about it if you don't really fully understand it. I am going to be showing you how to do this, and then you look as you get close to the end, start testing it. Make sure that when somebody buys it, they actually get what they're supposed to, and most important, right? This is key. If you don't test anything else, make sure that when a person buys, they get added to your list, because otherwise this is all for naught. And you need to make sure that's working. And I'm not saying that you don't want your product to work, but this has to work. Whenever somebody buys that product, they have to get on your list. That must work. Otherwise, this project is not going to be worth your doing. Right? So, and then launch, right? Launch the product, start building your list, and start relationship building. Okay, so again, that's what you do next. And again, again, if you didn't really fully understand that, I went through that too fast. I'm going to be covering that in LaunchPad when I do those calls. There are lots of opportunities to create your product. Again, we're going to be doing LaunchPad 2016. That's the product creation challenge. If you don't know anything about internet marketing, right, and you're just kind of lost, right? I'm going to suggest you go to my 30-day challenge. It's $80 off right now when you use the code GMP Welcome, right? If you don't know where to start, right, and you're just kind of floundering, you don't know what to buy, you don't know where to get started, I'm going to suggest go to superfastactionbonus.com/30-day. Right? Use that coupon code GMP Welcome. Right? And again, it's going to what it's going to do. It's going to give you context. Right? In fact, it's actually even showing in your it's in your box there. So you can either go to that site, or you can actually go to the offer that's showing there inside of Webinar Fusion Pro. Okay? If you need to start doing webinars, get Webinar Fusion Pro, right? I drink my own champagne. I do sometimes use GoToWebinar. I do, but I like Webinar Fusion Pro, right? I do. because when I get done, I have a perfect recording on YouTube and I have content, right? And for me, there's just nothing better, right? Or of course, you know, a lot of you already have PLR. You've got PLR from me. You've got PLR from other people. Just turn it into an original product. So you've got opportunities to create your own product and do everything that I've said for you to do in this call, right? Okay, now, I think that that's it. Once again, if you want to grab a webinar system, make sure that you go to GameMindshare.net/fusion. You can have the webinar system that we're using to do this call. GameMindshare.net/fusion. Okay, everybody. Well, I am right on 10 o'clock, and time has really flown. And so I did not mean to go that long, but I certainly hope this has been helpful for you. And so as to how to get started, most of us really are just one product away from getting started. And I guarantee you, right? I can't guarantee you this, but I will say, you're probably, everybody on this call, you're probably a collaboration away from really breaking one open, right? You're one collaboration away. And so you got to start putting yourself out there to meet people, other internet marketers. And you do, listen, and hear me on this. You do not have to find somebody who's a superstar and already in the limelight, right? Everybody's contacting them already. I'm not saying don't contact those people. I'm not saying don't get to know them. They might want to do a project with you. They might want to JV with you. But more than likely, probably those of you who are on this call together, right? You're in Facebook groups together. You're in Skype groups together. You probably have amongst yourself, right, a fantastic product, right? But you can't find that out until you put yourself out there, right? You can't find yourself out there until you say, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I do. Contact me here. Are you going to get some weirdos? You might. Are you going to get some people who are going to be like calling you all the time? You might. But what you're also going to get is you're going to get some people who are serious, and they might say, you know what? I've really been looking for a programmer, right, that I can trust. I do great graphics, but I have not been able to put, I've been looking for somebody who knows how to create video courses. I've been looking for somebody who knows how to do Udemy. Man, can we get together and can we figure out how to do something together? Until you put yourself out there, you're not going to find that person, and that person's not going to find you, right? So one of the ways, again, you put yourself out there is to go to forums and post. Another place is to put yourself out there. The best place is to do it at internet marketing conferences. The conferences, and you might say, well, I don't want to go to these conferences. It's just going to be a pitch fest. They are going to be a pitch fest, but it doesn't have to be a pitch fest for you. What you go to a conference for is to meet people. Find out what they do. Tell them what you do. See if there's something you could do together. Okay, so I'm going to get off my soapbox about that, but that's really about it for tonight. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. For those of you who are Genius Marketing Pro members, I'm going to be getting get my voice tuned up for our 10:30 call. So I hope to see you on that call, and we're going to be talking about opt-in pages. Thank you, Dr. Faye. I appreciate that. Okay, so with that, everybody, thank you very much. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.